Welcome to the Fringe Youth Worker Podcast with TJ and Sonny.
Hello and welcome to the Fringe Youth Worker Podcast. When this podcast drops, I will actually be in Israel, be in the Holy Land. So we recorded this one a little bit beforehand, but it doesn't matter because I'm always joined by my best friend, Sonny. Sonny, what's up?
Not a whole lot, TJ. I am getting back into the Clash of Clans universe. I'm so bored with life, or I'm so accomplished in life that I now have time again to re-download my favorite game on the mobile device, and it's kind of fun, bro. It's kind of like meeting up with an old friend again and seeing what's new, what's changed, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, man, life's good, bro. How about you?
That's awesome. You know, there's a podcast out there about youth ministry and video games, just completely devoted. I think it's on the DYM network. So video games is a useful tool for youth ministry. Not the way you're doing it, though. When you get into
No, it's not for youth ministry. This is just for me.
Yeah. It's when you get into Clash of Clans, it gets really hard to get a hold of you.
It won't be like it was back in the day.
Okay. Every addict says that. You work in addiction, Sonny. I know. Literally, how many times?
I took a few years off. That's why I took a few years off. I remember I almost killed Derek Jones one night because he deleted our clan. Oh, I was so mad.
Oh, man. Clash of Clans. Yes.
So bad.
Well, that's the funny thing is it was becoming a problem in the youth group. You were stirring up crap.
Saying. I legit wanted to freaking punch that kid, dude. Because I'm at this meeting one day and I let him in our clan and gave him some power. I forget what I gave him. And then he kicks a bunch of members out and takes my title away from me and locks me out of my own clan. And I'm like, I'm going to freaking kill this kid, dude. So I see my youth group that a couple days later, I'm like, hey.
All right. So there it is. So that was the reason, because Sonny almost punched a kid. So you can see that just the level of the addiction here in Sonny. So,
it brings back bad memories.
Oh my goodness. Well, Sonny, you know what's going on at my church right now?
What's going on at your church? What do you guys do?
They had us take this test. We're all cracked on the Enneagram right now. We all had to take.
That's stupid.
They paid for every member of the staff, to take this Enneagram test. So we. And what
does it do? What does it do for you? What does it do, TJ?
Would you want me to
tell you anything new?
Do you want me to tell you what it does for me, or do you want me to tell you why we do it at the church?
Every few years, what was the one a while back? Myers-Briggs. That was everything about the Myers-Briggs. Now it's Enneagram. Every few years, there's something. It's cool to talk about, but it doesn't change anything.
No, I don't know. We've talked about this a little bit in a pick or flick section, the Enneagram, but I don't know, man. I tend to, like you, buck the system. However, maybe it's just because I'm getting older. I really didn't want to take this test, and when I took the test and I read the results, I was like, oh my gosh, this is me. This is actually.
Okay, so what's different about that and then a horoscope?
Well, a horoscope is random. First of all, it's just random.
You never read a horoscope once and it was like, oh my gosh, I see myself in this.
No, I've never been like that. But this is what I'm trying to tell you, Sonny.
Let's start a new topic.
What?
Biblical or horoscope? And you have to determine which one it is.
It's true. But what I'm trying to tell you, Sonny, is I was skeptical too. However, once I saw the results, and I read the other people's results too, and I'm like, yep, that's exactly where I sit on this thing, and it's absolutely true. And so I'm interested. Now, here's the thing is, Sonny. Now, I know you're the same way as me, because I looked at this thing okay, now we're doing witchcraft at the church. That's the way I thought about it. However, Sonny, I want to know and I think the Fringe listeners, the randos out there, they want to know what your number is and what my number is. And so I think we need to have you take a test. I'm not going to pay the $100 that the church paid for me to take the test. So I'm going to, I found a free Enneagram test that I'm going to.
I ain't taking the stupid test.
I'm going to send you this free Enneagram test.
What's the best number you can be?
I don't know. I don't know what the best. I know what my number is, but I'm not going to reveal that until you tell me your number. And here's the other thing: we're going to put a poll.
Enneagram number you can be?
Sonny, we're going to put a poll out. What Enneagram number do you think Sonny and TJ is? Actually, people know me because I've already revealed mine. But we'll say, which Enneagram number do you think Sonny is? We'll have you take the test. We'll reveal it on the show when I get back from Israel, and people will know, finally, this mysterious man that is Sonny. And I think I already kind of know, because it's a spiritual gift of mine to know other people's Enneagram numbers. I think I already kind of have you pegged, but we'll have you take the test either way. All right?
Okay.
And maybe actually we'll do it live on the show. I'll ask you the questions. You'll tell me the responses. Then we will reveal your results live on the show.
Sounds good.
All right. That's good. All right. I'm done with all this chit chat. Let's get to the show.
Join the conversation on Facebook and Instagram. And when you subscribe to this podcast, please leave us a 5-star rating. We desperately need your approval.
Question of the week. Question of the week is a time where we get sent a question, or I come up with a question. Sonny has to answer on the fly, and here we go. Here's the question. What's one thing, Sonny, what is one thing that you want your students to know that you would not tell them in person? Or maybe you can't tell them in person.
That smoking weed isn't that bad. So honestly. So here's the deal, T. I literally have kids doing acid and mushrooms on the daily or on the weekly because it doesn't show up in UAs. But if they get a dirty UA for weed, they have like a probation violation and they'll get in trouble for that.
Okay.
But they can do acid all they want. It'll never show up in their system. And so it's like, in a way, by giving them these UAs and then by their PO punishing them for them, they're like driving them to use these other more harder drugs. I've also had kids use meth, because it'll get out of your system in 3 days. Oof. And so many times I want to just tell like POs too, and the kids and the parents, like, dude, if all your kid's doing is smoking a little bit of weed here and there, and they're still in school and you still have a relationship with them, they're going to be okay. Like now, if they're like smoking it every day, all day, and they're smoking dabs and they're not doing school and they're getting in trouble, that's one thing. But like honestly, I had this conversation with a nurse the other day at one of the schools. She said her kid had started smoking weed and she was really scared. And she said that her kid was open with her about it and talked to her about it. Was only smoking it here and there. And she goes, what should I be doing? I said, you're doing it. I was like, you're having an open dialogue with your kid about stuff he's doing, and he trusts you enough to come back to you and talk to you about it. That's a win, you know. And so yeah. So sometimes I want to tell some of the parents and some of the kids, like, dude, if you need to smoke weed or whatever a couple times here and there, go smoke some weed. It's not going to be the end of the world and stuff like that, you know? And to be quite honest, I'd rather a kid smoke weed than alcohol, because you don't overdose on weed. You don't get behind the car and think, not even remember the night before. I mean, there's a whole other tangent we can go down and stuff like that, but that'd be the one thing.
Do you think that's why society is sort of changing on weed?
Yeah, because I think there's been a whole lot of mistruths out there on both sides of it. Weed doesn't cure cancer, but it doesn't make everybody schizophrenic. And so there's a whole bunch of mistruths on both sides and stuff like that. When you look back at why weed was even illegal to begin with, it's all about paper companies and money and stuff like that, you know? And even now to this day, you know, like the U.S. government holds a patent for THC to be used for medical purposes and stuff like that. And so when you actually get down to it, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense other than capitalism and money. And it's sad, you know? So yeah, so I think that's why. But now we're seeing like the exact opposite of the pendulum, where we're swinging too far into freaking weed, man. Like I passed 7 weed shops, TJ, on my like 1.5 mile drive to work, dude. Yeah. Like what's probably 2 miles. 7 weed shops, bro. And you're up there in Washington, so you know it too. Like, dude, it's freaking nuts. It's just it's crazy right now down here in Oregon.
Yeah, somebody needs to invent weed that doesn't stink so bad. that's like the next thing, because down south Seattle, you smell it everywhere. You smell that and like pee everywhere in Seattle now. And it needs to be invented in that way. And I'm kind of with you on this one, not in the way that I'd ever encourage anybody to smoke weed.
No, of course not.
But it's on the list of like high crimes and misdemeanors. It's low. Like if a parent comes to me and their kid is like moved out and moved in with their girlfriend, like that's a bigger deal to me. There's just, I mean, I don't want to like make a list.
There's a whole lot of pick your battles, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, at the same time, I always say weed makes a crappy life seem okay. That's the best thing weed does. Weed makes your current situation not seem that bad because you get high and you're like, dude, everything's great. And that's the real danger of weed, is it makes you think that like your crappy life is okay, so you never ever try to make your crappy life uncrappy. That's the worst thing weed's gonna ever do to you. Our brains are plastic. They'll remold themselves, they'll reshape themselves. Your dopamine levels will rebalance out, and a small percentage of people can develop schizophrenia from it. But that's like so minute, it's not even on the radar. And so, again, there's just a lot of mistruths out there. But at the same time, it doesn't cure cancer. It's not a one to drugs.
That's a pretty controversial thing you just said, though, Sonny. I mean, I'm guessing we're going to get some calls on that one. But at the same time,
it doesn't cure cancer?
No. Just that weed's not that bad. But at the same time, like, it's not the end of the world for me either. But here, I would still encourage, and this is where I would still stand, is like, the Bible, what it talks about is let nothing be the master of me. And that's not just weed, man. That's eating too much.
Everything, man.
That's being on the internet too much. That's an addiction to TikTok or YouTube or whatever. Let nothing be the master of me. So if there's something that's taking over my day and saying you got to go do this now, that's an addiction, and you need to not be mastered by anything except for the Lord. That's what I would say. And I know plenty of people, 100%. and I'm totally with you on the alcohol thing. In fact, I think it's crazy that alcohol in every form is legal. There's like 90 proof stuff. People can literally
not only legal, TJ, but like socially accepted and encouraged. And like if you don't have a drink, you're like the weirdo. You know what I'm saying? Like it's beyond accepted, it's like the norm.
Yeah. And so I don't want to jump down that because there's a lot of youth workers like to drink and stuff. I come from alcoholic upbringing and stuff, so I don't want to touch that stuff. But if I'm just going to talk about it, because I don't do either one of those things, I'd rather be around someone smoking pot than someone who's drunk. I mean, as just like an annoyance factor, but. Neither one are great, but if I was going to have to do one of those two things, like I'm going to go do around that one.
Well, 6 months down the road, maybe guilty pleasures will be more guilty.
I hope not. Anyway, man. we could become the Joe Rogan podcast here and just openly smoke weed on the Fringe Youth Worker Podcast. So what I would say, Sonny, the thing I would say to a student is, I'd rather you walk away from your fake faith now than pretend. I'd rather you walk away and not come back here until you're ready to get serious about your relationship with God. I can't say that. I don't want to ever say to students, but there's so many kids that I see on the reg who are just faking the funk because of their parents or because of obligation or because they're just not, they don't have enough courage to say what they actually believe. And I believe that a faith that is untested or a faith that is running from its doubt is not real faith. And I think that's a faith that's going to go away the second you enter, first year college and one professor gets up there and challenges it. And so I'd rather have people walk away from their fake faith to come back to a real faith than just fake it all through high school. And I don't say that to kids. I mean, I don't want kids just, in droves walking out from their faith, but there's too many kids who I think they live every single day for their parents or for obligation or because they're scared. And none of those are good reasons to believe in Jesus. None of them are. The best reason to believe in God, the best reason to have a faith in God is because you have bought into it, because you have owned your faith. And here's the thing, no matter whether you're a fringe kid or a church kid, both of those people become on fire for Jesus when they own their faith. when they own their faith. And a lot of times it's easier for fringe kids to own their faith than it is for church kids to own their faith. And so if I was going to say something to a kid, I say, I'd rather you drop the pretension and not come here. And along that same lines, I wish I could tell parents, hey, stop making your kid come to youth group. It doesn't do me any good. The best thing I have going for me is that kids want to be here. So when you bring your kid who doesn't want to be here and they act the whole time like they don't want to be here, that doesn't do me any good culture-wise. That doesn't do them any good culture-wise. And
more harm than good.
They've been in church their whole life. And so so many parents, I think, want me somehow to convince them that Jesus is the answer. And I just have no ability inside of salvation to save a kid. And so if they're not compelled by the gospel, well, maybe they need to go out and see what's going on in the world so they can actually be compelled by the gospel. And Jesus will all of a sudden, have that prodigal son moment. It was better at my father's house. And so, yeah, that would.
So do you think that needs to happen? Because I think it's easier to come by your faith when it's real and it mattered to you and like there was no other option but or you seen the work that, because you can't refute your own personal testimony, right? And so how do you achieve that as a parent when your kid has that pretty darn good lifestyle, but yet you want them to have the faith that's their own, but yet you've put such a really good life around them. They're not really experiencing a lot of the things. Now, of course, they experience things, but not to the extent maybe some other kids are that might have an easier time accepting Jesus at a younger age. Like what's the story you tell them? Like ride it out until they get in their 20s and life sucks for them? Like what do you do there?
I mean, I don't have a thing because I don't do that. That's what this question is. I mean, literally, I don't say those to the kids. I try to convince them.
To the parents, like when a parent says, my kid just doesn't understand his faith yet. Like, is that okay for a kid to be 16, 17 and not have his own faith?
Oh, believe me. It's a lot better than them to be pretending to have their own faith. I mean, and every youth worker knows what I'm talking about. I mean, there are kids who maybe it's subconscious even, but their faith isn't real to them yet. And I feel like there's something so true about the fact that sinners need a savior. And if you don't think you're a sinner, then why are you in search of a savior? I mean, broken people need saviors. People who are in need of rescue need a savior. It isn't somebody who's got everything going for them that seeks out God. And I just don't hear that testimony, and it's just not a realistic testimony. It's not like, oh man, I was killing it. I was making $150,000 a year, and I got to, I had the family, had the whole thing. I decided I need something better. I need something even more, and I'm going to go to church. It's usually, I lost all that stuff, and that's when I rebuilt my life in faith. And those are the best stories, and those are the stories.
That's what I'm saying.
True.
So, like, as a parent, do you purposely set your kids up to fail so they have those experiences?
I think that you can not set your kid up to fail, but I think you can insert experiences in them that wreck them. Send them on a mission trip to a third world country. Do that.
What did you just say? Set them up on experiences that will wreck them.
Yeah, not you know what I mean? Like, you remember the first time you went to a third world country, right?
Sure. I mean, yeah, it opens your eyes.
Yeah,
sure.
It doesn't just open your eyes. Yeah. You're just like, you come home from that and go, oh, I feel like trash for living the way we do.
You feel guilty for how many shoes you got. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you want your kids to understand brokenness, then make sure that you're intentionally show them brokenness. And the best way to do that is, I think, on mission trips, or going down to the food pantries or feeding the homeless, or just let them experience those things so that faith can be made real, so that they can see things in life that are broken, and then be like, wow, I do really have it good. But I still think even if you put all of those experiences into a life, there's a reckoning. There's a moment when you have to choose whether or not you need a savior. And that usually has to do with how broken you feel on the inside. And so I don't pray for brokenness for anybody, but there are kids that I pray that they find their bottom and find it quick and need a savior. And that's what it is. But I've worked with so many parents, and every story is so different that I know that a lot of times they don't find their bottom very quick, or some never do, and it's a tragic story, and it's a caution to us, Sonny, as our kids are small right now and still making kid decisions. Teenagers are coming, and these big adult decisions are coming, and we're gonna have to be along for the ride on that, and that's
I'm gonna
scary.
set them up for experiences that will wreck them.
Yeah, set them up with experience that will wreck them. Seriously,
they're gonna come box dad.
That's right. That's right.
No, that's hard. It's something I think about a lot. Like I always tell parents, like, because they're like, "Oh, do you have kids?" I'm like, "Well, I have kids, but they're still pretty young. I've just been practicing on everybody else's kids for a long time."
So from this segment, we just told parents, let them smoke weed and find their bottom, and then Jesus will make sense.
Yeah, I could buy that sponsorship there, PJ.
Oh, man. All right, it is pick or flick. It is a pick or flick time right now. Hot topics. All right, we're gonna be throwing back and forth topics of the day, and we gotta choose whether we're gonna pick or flick these topics.
The Mandalorian.
I love it. I think it's I think honestly, like, this is what I think the first new Star Wars movie came out and it was good, and I think they've had a lot of just sort of.
Mediocre, right?
Mediocre.
This is the best version of Star Wars Disney has done.
Yeah, and I feel like this format of wait a week, let it digest, kind of like hear what the fans are saying about it, and just kind of like talking about it. It's better than the build up to the crazy like hype that these things always have, then the release, and then everyone coming out for or against it, and they're making $1 billion anyway. I think that this way of doing this is the right way to do it. I like it. I like The Mandalorian. I think that there's a lot of just the story is good, and Baby Yoda. It takes place as telling a story that's in a time that we don't know a whole lot about, and I like it. I just like it. I wait every week, and I can't wait to watch it. So yeah, I like it.
So the fourth one's out. Did you see that?
I think I've seen them all. Yeah, I think. When did the first one? When did the fourth one come out?
I think it just came out like yesterday or today.
Oh, okay, no, then I haven't. I've seen up to 3.
Yeah, I've seen 3. Yeah, I think it's the greatest of all. Like I even include like the whole Jar Jar Binks and all those stupid movies. Like I hated those. Those movies were awful. But even like The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi and all that kind of stuff, I think The Mandalorian is the it's created the Star Wars lore the best and feels like Star Wars and just feels right and stuff like that, man. I don't know, it's pretty cool. So
yeah,
we watch it as a family. I watch it with both my boys, man. They love it too.
I saw
now this year they want Star Wars everything for Christmas, man.
That's
cool.
Awesome. See that means that it's won. That's why that's awesome. And I text messaged a few of our friends who are really into this. Isaac Galloway. I said, tell me what's going on in this movie because I need a backstory of tell me and he gave me the whole thing and it was good. But I saw the best. What's up?
Go ahead.
I saw the best meme as it relates to the Mandalorian was that moment in Hook when the blind kid comes up to Peter and touches his face and says, "Peter, there you are," right? And it says Star Wars, there you are. And so I thought that was the best. That's the best meme of this. Like that's what it felt like to a lot of people. Was like this feels like this is good, So
this is Star Wars, man. This is it. We've been waiting forever for freaking this.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's cool.
Awesome. All right, you ready for this? Taking baths.
Hit me. No. Why would you even put that as a topic?
Are you not even going to answer it?
To do what? To just sit there in your own filth? It's the stupidest thing in the world. But no. It's so dumb. Why would you take a bath?
This is spoken as like our friendship like cemented in a hot tub, Sonny. Like, so it's not much better.
No, not mine and yours. That was your own thing with your own boys before you came in.
No, dude. The idea for Respawn came in a hot tub, dude.
Well, that did come in a hot tub, but that was different. That was not a bath. You said bath. Hot tub is different than a bath.
It is, but it's not much different.
Bath is naked and you're freaking washing yourself and then laying in your own filth afterwards. Like, it makes no sense. It's so stupid. But here's the deal. At what age, I think the real question should be, and obviously it's a flick, at what age do you stop taking baths? Like, because my boy is 6 and he still takes baths. A couple times I've like helped him take a shower, but he's not quite there yet. So like, you can't roll into middle school still taking baths, right?
So, Sonny, I want you to picture this right now, okay? I want you to just maybe even close your eyes, bow your head.
Are we taking a stroll down memory lane for TJ?
No. I just want you to just I want the full picture coming at your way, okay?
Okay.
I love baths and still take baths to this day.
Oh, that does not surprise me at all, TJ. Why you type he in your freaking thing? That's just weird to me. Does your wife know?
Yeah, she knows.
And she married you?
Yeah, man. Like, I love baths. Bro. In fact, I was just thinking about getting a bigger bath.
You really take baths?
Yeah.
How do I not know this?
I think like half the population takes baths. Maybe this should be a question.
I don't think half the population takes baths.
We'll put this
put a poll up.
We'll put a poll out and we'll see who takes baths and who doesn't.
Put it on like a big thing though. Like, talk to like DYM or something. See if you can put a poll on their thing.
No, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to be the guy who asks about baths on the DYM.
Why not? You think half the nation takes baths?
My wife is like, on the payroll now for DYM, so I'm not trying to get her in trouble.
Have her do it.
Anyway,
you can come up with a bath curriculum.
I love baths. I think they're awesome, so relaxing, the best thing ever. I want to get a bigger bath with like jets in it. I want to live in a bath when I'm sick. That's where I want to be.
What are you doing there?
I relax.
You just sit there?
I relax. I usually listen to
a
podcast.
Your phone? Bring your iPad?
This should have been my guilty pleasure. I missed. This should have been it. Right here.
Do you bring your iPad in there with you?
Sometimes I do, but most of the time
in a little saran wrap thing?
No. I don't take my iPad. I take my phone in there because my phone's waterproof.
You just sit there in the bath.
Yeah.
That's weird.
You should try it this week, man.
No, I'm good.
This is the problem. Maybe this is your problem in life. Maybe this is why you're so like tense all the time, is you haven't had a bath in a while.
I'm not tense. I'm good.
You need to take a bath, homie. Okay?
No,
you need to jump in the bath. I'm straight. Okay. All right.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Anything else?
I don't even know if the podcast will continue after this knowledge. I got a lot of bad images in my head right now. I want to go away. I want them to go away real bad. I want them to go away.
All right, hey, I want to give you one more. One more. The Astros cheating. The Houston Asterix.
The videotaping and all that stuff?
Yeah.
I flick it. You know why? Because every freaking team cheats. I don't care what anybody says. Every team is doing the most they can to gain an edge if they can, and until they get caught, they're all going to do it. So singling out the Astros is no different than singling out the Patriots, no different than singling out the Raiders and the Seven. Like, every team cheats. I don't care what anybody says.
I don't understand how you pick or flick this. Like, so are you for it or against it, basically? So I'm going to pick.
I'm for it. I'm for competition.
So you're for them cheating.
Every team does it. You kidding me? They're the only ones? You really think with all the money involved in sports, they're the only ones who are going to do it like that?
So first of all, I'm flicking this. I'm on the complete opposite side of you on this.
Well, of course you are. You're a bath person.
Yes, that's right.
You're a bathy.
Okay, thank you for that.
Are they still flying you to Israel? But they know Did they know you take baths?
I don't know, man. I can't wait.
That should be a question mark on like applications for employment. Do you take baths? We don't know if we can hire somebody who takes baths.
Dude, when I go to hotel rooms, if they have like the upgrade to the awesome bath, the jetted tub thing, I always go for that. Anyway, let's get back to the Astros cheating here first of all.
Okay.
I'm a way bigger baseball fan than you are. Like a way bigger baseball fan. And so I'm going to say this. I'm going to call BS on your, like, everybody does it. I think everybody's trying to gain a competitive edge. Yes, that's absolutely true. There are forms of gray areas in baseball. That's been true for a long time, but nothing like this. Nothing like this, where they were using literally cameras and signs to tell you exactly what pitch is coming. And in baseball, this is why this is a big deal, because baseball is about guessing which pitch is coming, because every baseball player can dial up a fastball. Every baseball player can hit a curveball if they know it's coming. If they don't know it's coming, that's where the timing comes in. And so the off speed and the poker game of what pitch is coming is a huge deal. So when you know that the fastball's coming, that's going to up your game. And you can just go look. Go look. One of the things that I've been looking at, and one of the best guys who actually broke this story, John Boy Media. He does these breakdowns, and they're just amazing breakdowns. And he will explain to you why, this is one of the worst cases of cheating, because it literally does change the outcome of the game. This is one of the ones, it's next to steroids in the fact that income versus outcome happens. And so, yes, you're right, Sonny, when you say everyone's trying to gain a competitive edge. Do they go to the gray areas? This is a systematic failure. Every single person on the Astros had to know this was happening, because they all knew the signs. They all knew it was happening. And they said nothing for 2 years about this. They got a World Series ring because of it. It's just, there's so much here. This isn't a deflated football. A deflated football, you can argue, you still got to throw the football to someone. This whole thing is, the pitch is coming, and if you don't if you have any questions about what does that change? Watch a home run derby. Watch a home run derby, because when you know what's coming, you can hit it out every single time if you're a Major League Baseball player. And that's what the Astros were doing. They went from last to first in a matter of a year and a half, and it all corresponds with them hiring this coach who was doing that. And that's, to me, it's bad. And you know what? The Astros had every reason to do this, because, what we used to call them, the Lastros, because they were that bad of a team. And so they cheated, and they won a World Series doing it. And that messes with the integrity, I think, of the purest sport in America. So there you go.
Yeah, I don't know any of the stuff you're talking about. I still think every team does it, and I think you're just mad because you're an A's fan and the Astros, we hate them, and so they won. I don't know. I'm still
hot take.
More upset. You take bat. You
Hot
take
take.
bats. Anything else?
Sonny, this week.
I'll go watch the video and stuff. But yeah,
you should watch John Boy stuff, man. It's actually really, really good. It's actually really good.
Okay, we'll check it out.
All right, I want to do one more, just so we have some fodder here, okay?
Okay.
Jesus is King, Kanye West.
Ooh, Kanye West.
Mm-hmm. What I want to hear from you, Sonny, on this is, you hang out with these kids who hip hop is their life. You've built your whole program.
They don't ever mention Kanye. They don't ever mention Kanye. Period.
And they never did before this.
The only thing you hear about Kanye with the kids I work with is Yeezys. That's it.
So
they don't ever talk about.
So you talk about his shoes.
Talk about his shoes. That's it.
That's it.
No one's talking about Kanye's faith. No one's talking about anything about Kanye. All they ever talk about with Kanye is the Yeezys, and that's it. And if you have a pair of Yeezys, you're on status. You got good status going for yourself.
So in your world, it made no difference.
It made no difference whatsoever.
That's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah. No. Why, in your world did it?
Yeah. There's a few kids who all of a sudden started listening to Kanye West in that way, and I saw on one of the forums somebody wrote on one of the prayer cards my kid came to church today because Jesus is King came out, so I thought that was cool.
That's cool.
I think Kanye is an our generation rapper, so I think he's just I think that people from who are in their 30s now and grew up around the 90s and the early 2000s. I think the 2000s and the 2010s have been Kanye's kind of thing, but he's stayed popular throughout it. But I don't think it has to do with really his music so much as his other things,
as the Yeezys. I'm telling you,
the Yeezys, the fashion, marrying Kim Kardashian, all the other things that Kanye has been a part of. But I've listened to interviews with the guy, and he seems like a solid Christian now. I mean, he's saying all the right things, and I don't know. For me, I just want to be part of. If God's doing a revival in our country, and that means that some of these prominent Christians are falling down, and God's raising up Bieber and Kanye to be a voice of this new version of faith. I just want to be a part of that because, like I talked about earlier in the show, is I don't want fake faith. And for me, it looks like Kanye had a real reckoning, a real moment with God that changed his life. And he talks about it very openly, that he found his bottom. And that's where Jesus, entered his life. So I'm excited for it. I don't know if I've listened to like Kanye's albums since I was in college. And so it was cool. When it came out, I was super excited about it. And there's a few songs on there I really dig. So it's pretty awesome. But I can tell you who doesn't like that Kanye has become a Christian. You know who doesn't?
Brit.
No, not Brit. Brit loves it.
Oh, who? I don't know.
The Christian rap scene.
Oh, why? Like Lecrae and all those guys?
I don't know, man. They got to be thinking like my bread and butter is about ready to be taken because Kanye West became a Christian, man. I don't know.
Have you heard the album?
Yeah, I've listened to the whole thing.
It's not even that good. I don't think it's that good.
I think it's pretty good.
From a music standpoint, like it's like I don't know, it's not that good.
It's pretty. It's pretty short.
I'd prefer to listen to the Grit. Yeah, it's only like 28 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the Grits from way back in the day?
Yeah.
They were really good. I like.
They still
really good.
They still put out stuff. Lecrae's still good. Andy Mineo's super good. Have you heard him?
Yeah, he's all right.
I like Andy Mineo a lot, man.
He takes baths. Yeah, I don't know. I think the Kanye thing, man. I think like you talk about influencers, and those guys who like live to be in the spotlight and stuff. Like, yeah, I can never take anything they do seriously.
Yeah.
Like I just can never take any. Like I don't. If he is, cool. If he's not, cool. My opinion doesn't matter. The only cool thing about it is that more and more people are hearing that Jesus is king. And that's cool.
Yeah.
The gospel says, doesn't matter who's saying it, but that's being said. So
yeah, I
think that's cool. That's the coolest thing about it, I think.
I think that is one of the coolest things about it. I do think it's, and I don't really think it's in any place, even when they're celebrities or not celebrities, it's just not Christian place to say that person's saved or that one person's not saved.
No.
If the person's declaring, I think that it's really simple. If they declare that Jesus is king or Jesus saved them, and they believe that in their hearts, that's what makes them a Christian. And so I think that we get into really risky places when we say, hey, is this person saved or is that person saved? I think that's where you get into really weird
for
part.
Us, man.
Yeah. So if he's saying that Jesus is king, I'm going to agree with him until he stops saying that. Right?
Exactly.
Cool.
Amen. Bath taking influencer.
Awesome. Well, I thank you guys once again for being part of this awesome podcast. What a great show this has been. We had some new segments, and that is awesome. Let us know online what you liked, what you didn't like, and always give us those 5-star reviews. We got a few new reviews, Sonny. We got a few new reviews, and those are always good. Those are lifebloods for us. So thank you for you guys who take time out of your day to review the podcast. That is awesome. I've had people several times say, I don't know how to review the podcast if I'm not on Apple. I'm an Android person. One of the easiest ways you can do it is actually go on Podbeam, which is where we kind of beam our podcast to the world, and you can actually review and like and leave comments there. Other than that, just join our social media presence, like our stuff on Instagram and Facebook, and just let us know what you love about the show. Sonny, you got anything else?
I'm good.
This is the Fringe Youth Worker Podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Fringe Youth Worker Podcast. Don't believe anything my dad said.